Sorry, I'm all interested in the details because I really want to do this someday, if it ever makes sense. And I think it'd be so amazing, but I'm sort of like, oh, so then what you do and then how you do it. This is Climbing Gold. So you've done the biggest traverse in the world, maybe, or something. I don't know. It depends how you define technical rock climbing traverses, I guess. But tell us about the Goliath traverse, which is something that I would love to do someday because I think it's so crazy sounding. And talk about the process. First tell us what it is.
So Goliath Traverse is a very large traverse in the High Sierra, which involves climbing approximately 60 mountains that are connected by the same ridgeline.
Some of the parts are the famous traverses, right, that people have maybe heard of. So which parts do you connect and name the prominent peaks or whatever?
So it connects two very prominent traverses. One being the full Evolution Crest Traverse, which is about 2.5 times bigger than the popular Evolution Traverse. It goes over peaks like Mount Mendel, Thompson, Gilbert, Darwin, many other peaks, like a ton of peaks, too many.
60 of them, in fact. That's so crazy.
And then, it actually starts from the Full Palisade Traverse. And the Full Palisade Traverse was something that's been done maybe about a dozen times before I did the Goliath. And it actually, I did an extension to the Full Palisade Traverse, which was the brainchild of Peter Croft and Conrad Anker. They attempted this thing they dubbed the Full Monty Traverse, which pretty much doubles the size of the Full Palisade Traverse. But I found out only in 2021 that they haven't actually did that whole extension. There was just an article online about their expedition to try it, I guess, before they went out to do it. But if I was to try to give people an understanding of how long this thing is, like imagine if you do the Evolution Traverse 8 times and you make it a lot steeper and a lot chossier and a lot harder. Something like that.
And how long did it take you?
About 8 days. Like 7 nights and 8 days.
And what were the total stats? Like how many? You said 60 mountains.
Like about 60 mountains. I did not wear a watch to record how many feet of elevation gain it was, but it was a lot.
Oh, really? Oh, because I saw reported online maybe that it was something like 80,000 feet of vertical.
It's an estimate.
Okay, so it could be like 100,000 feet of vert or something.
It could be 100,000. It could be 50. It could be 40. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely not 40. It's definitely not 40 because it's like no, it's definitely like 60 to 100. I bet just from the just from the scale. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I've had this goal for some years. I actually attempted it in 2016, but bailed after I tried the Full Evolution Crest Traverse, and then it took me a number of years before I decided to try it again, and actually it was successful after a lot of preparation and a lot of research that I put into this project.
Yeah. Talk about the preparation. I forget where I read it. Maybe did you write this up for like the American Alpine Journal or maybe or Alpinist Magazine or something? I'm pretty sure I read a feature that you wrote about it with all the training that went into it and it was just such a long-term project. Can you talk about some of that?
Yeah, of course. So I don't even know where to begin because there's so much to it, and it was such a huge and overwhelming project that it was really hard to start and hard to believe in yourself because when I found out that Peter Croft and Conrad Anker tried this thing, and that's like
totally.
I don't know,
yeah.
the God.
You're like, Peter Croft didn't make it. You're like, I'm gonna go and do it, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty intimidating because he had literally written the guidebook. The previous best. Like you must have used the Good, the Great, and the Awesome, like the Peter Croft guidebook to the Sierra. I mean, that was my original like soloing guidebook, and I was like, oh, he's the man for that stuff. I mean, he like made those traverses cool, and I mean, Peter Croft is like the legend of the Sierra for that kind of stuff.
He's like the God.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
You have the Holy Spirit with him, Conrad Anker. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
I watched this little film about you and Cedar Ride doing the Sufferfest. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember you traversed over from Norman Clyde to
Yeah.
Middle Palisade, and you were like, this was too big or too much of a ridge. And it was kind of sketchy. And so then I have like this Jesus Christ saying that this thing is gnarly.
Terribly loose part of that whole middle part of the Palisades. I was like, that is terrible rock and just like not great climbing. It's like so bad.
Basically, I feel like nursing changed me as a person. And when you work in critical care nursing, you get. Sorry, my cat is like, he was about to jump on the keyboard.
That's fine.
I chilled out a lot as a climber, and I became much less impulsive. I feel like in my younger years, I would do things on a whim, and I feel like I had a lot more angst and that sort of unrest that I had back when I was doing boxing. And over the years, after seeing so many people pass away in just day-to-day, like stupid accidents, or like normal things that you do on the daily, I became a lot less brave. So when I got to Goliath, I needed to cover everything from A to Z. I wanted to be fit for it. I wanted to have good skills at climbing. I wanted to know much more about nutrition. I wanted to have the lightest gear that I could find. I wanted to prepare myself mentally for it, physically. I wanted to make sure that I am there for all the right reasons, and I feel very comfortable with that. And so what I started to do is I started to climb a lot in Yosemite. I got into trail running and started to listen to all the trail running podcasts about nutrition and training. I was soloing a lot of moderate terrain, and even free soloed a couple 511s in at the Cookie Cliff and Arch Rock.
Oh yeah, which ones?
Anticipation and Crack a Go-Go.
Oh, you sold Crack a Go-Go?
Mm-hmm.
Like all three pitches or whatever, like to the top, or just that middle pitch?
Just the first crux pitch. And I worked on it on microtraction a bunch. I just wanted to do it for myself and give myself more confidence that I can basically do any move on that traverse, no problem. And then in the springtime, I soloed an A4 route on El Capitan called the Shortest Straw. And, aid climbing is not my thing. I'm just not into it. And I wanted to take myself out of my comfort zone and be by myself for a week to see what it feels like on a big traverse.
And how was that? I mean, how was it just being totally by yourself on the wall for a week, doing something that you're not necessarily good at, like learning a new thing?
It was fine. I think I'm an introvert by nature, and I'm probably much more nervous about being on this podcast than I am soloing a wall for a week or being on Goliath. So
yeah, and so then so after soloing El Cap, then what else did you do as Goliath preparation?
Went to Alaska, and my friend and I did the second free ascent of a difficult route on the southwest face of Denali called the Denali Diamond in a 2-day push. It was a great way to get yourself like completely out of the comfort of California climbing. So after being at like 16,000 feet, just being cold all the time, being at 13 and 14,000 feet in the Sierra feels pretty chill.
Totally. You went somewhere truly heinous to make all the Sierra stuff feel like pretty vacationy. You're like, oh, it's so warm and dry.
Or maybe it was just an excuse for my wife for me to go on another expedition. Yeah, I'm preparing for the Goliath.
Yeah.
And then I just did a lot of trail running and scrambling in the High Sierra that summer. Just a lot of different link ups and so on.
Was that all the year before? I mean, that is a crazy year of preparation.
Yeah, I decided to quit my work around spring and dedicate that whole spring and summer to preparation. And all those Yosemite Valley trips, I would just go on the day that I would have off, and I would just drive in and do a bunch of climbing and drive back.
Wow.
And work.
That's that's so cool. That's such a real level of commitment where you're like, I'm going to spend 6 months. I'm going to go all in on this mega life project and I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, I did not see any way to do it otherwise. To put it in perspective, the first ascent of full evolution crest took about 8 days, and the full Monty was never even completed at that time. And my big vision was to not have any caches along the way, as with the first ascents of the full evolution crest and the full Palisade traverse. Because if I have a limited supply of food, I have only a limited supply of time. And if I didn't have that constraint on myself, I almost feel like the full Sierra crest is possible.
How much bigger is that?
I don't know, and it would be unreal. it would be probably 10 times bigger. I don't know.
10 times bigger?
Maybe 8 times. I've never actually tried to look into the numbers, but it would be really hard.
You're saying that you felt like you had to do it self-supported with no caches, because if you were going to do caches, then you'd feel like, well, you ought to just go the whole freaking way, and then that's a whole different thing and a different scale. And
exactly. Yeah, I feel like doing it unsupported and carrying all the food and fuel on yourself is the limiter for how long you can be on the ridgeline.
And so you said you wound up spending 7 nights on the ridge?
Yes.
I mean, the crux is water, isn't it? Like, where do you find all your water?
I was able to find a couple of tarns, because you travel over several different passes, and you also go over a bunch of terrain that has snow patches that are melting during the day. So sometimes I was able to resupply and get a bunch of the snow melt as I was just seeing it on the ridgeline.
What time of year did you wind up going? I mean, summer, but like July or August?
August. That whole summer was a monsoon-like season, and I just could not try to do it earlier in the summer because there was not a single 1-week weather window. Probably every other day was a thunderstorm in the forecast. Each day I pretty much was starting with 4 liters of water because I was expecting to not find any, and if I found some, then I would top myself off so I can have more for the following day and for the evening when I'm making dinner and stuff.
So I'm all interested in the details because I really want to do this someday, if it ever makes sense. And I think it'd be so amazing, but I'm sort of like, oh, so then what you do? And then how you do it. It's like
you're one of the few people that can, and I think you'd actually have fun because you have an endless passion for mountain climbing, as do I.